Hey everyone, Melody here from Melody Stitches. Back to do my 2-ish week update. Today is Sunday, October 9th? Maybe? Yeah, maybe. It's a Sunday towards the beginning of October. It's not Saturday, because my recording plans for Saturday were thwarted by the fact that my daughter had a shorter shift than she normally does. So she got off work at 6, my husband went to work at 5, and yeah, there was pretty much no way I was getting everything I needed to get together and organized and ready to go done in an hour. So decided I would just wait until today. Daughter's at youth group, hubby's at work, house is quiet, except for probably noises that you can hear from outside, cars going by, crickets and the like, because it is beautiful weather here in the Midwest. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous fall weather, and I have my door and my windows wide open, so no apologies there. It is way too nice to not have fresh air. So if you hear cars, golf carts, you know, dogs barking, kids yelling, it's because it's a gorgeous day and people are outside. So today I do have one finish that I want to show you. I have some progress on a new start that I had talked about in my last video that I had on my Q snaps and was ready to go after I was done filming, and I worked on that until October 1st when I started officially working towards the Year of Whips challenge from the Soulful Stitching Facebook group, which I understand the name was changed to Soulful Stitching from Soulful Stitching Sisters, because we now actually officially have at least one, maybe more now, I'm not sure, but at least one male member. So so we are no longer just sisters, we are sisters and brother or brothers. So that Facebook group is now Soulful Stitching. If you care to look that up, join, see what we've got going on. And then I will show you some progress on the whip that I am currently working on. I will show you some starts that I have planned for the rest of this year and into next year. And yeah, and a little tip, trick, technique thing that I do when I work on with my scroll rods. So we'll jump right in. My finish is one of my Year of Whips challenge pieces. This was a freebie sal that was from a few years ago from Jardin Privé. It's called Les Pensées Positives. I don't have any idea what that means in its native language, but I'm assuming something to do with happiness, because that's pretty much what, it's a sampler, and that's pretty much what it alludes to is happiness. This is stitched on, I believe it's 28 count Jobelin, and the color is Melody. I had nothing to do with that. From Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie, and I had been looking for something to put on this fabric for a while, and when I came across this, I can't show you a picture of what the finished product looks like just because it's just charts, but I had seen a couple of pictures of it online, and as soon as I saw them with the pinks and the kind of grays and the blues and the yellow, I knew this was the fabric for it. So here is Les Pensées Positives by Jardin Privé, and this is still available online if you just do a search for it, or Les Pensées Positives Sal. It'll pop up. It's mostly in French, but you can usually use Google or Bing to translate the page, and then you can read the instructions. It's in 5 parts, so you'd have to download all 5 parts, and that's normally pretty easy to deduce what it is that you need to click on or where to go. So I will pan this up. It is not ironed. Duh. Because I don't iron. I iron in my dryer. Are we kidding? My clothes are ironed by my dryer. So this doesn't go in the dryer. So it's just wrinkly. But here it is. I'll move it up a little bit there and see if I can pan it up. It says, "The way to happiness, keep your heart free from hate, your mind from worry, live simply, expect little, give much, scatter sunshine, forget self, think of others." And it is long, y'all. This thing is, I don't remember. I have the dimensions. I don't even know if I can get back here far enough for you to see it all. Oh, it becomes teeny, teeny, tiny. Yeah, that's the whole thing. That's almost my wingspan. And, well, I'm 6 feet tall, so I have a big wingspan. This, not 6 feet tall, but it's big. I think I figured it out. 254 stitches high, so 19 inches before any border. So this, the way I stitched it up, it finished up 19 by 7. So that, I really like it. I don't know why it's off center on the fabric. I thought I was doing a really good job, but math, geometry, numbers. It's a wonder I can even get the fabric big enough, much less get it centered on there. But I do have a frame in mind for this, and this will probably hang in my entryway next to my front closet, just because I love the sentiment on it, and I think that my children are at good ages that they probably need to be reminded of that sort of thing regularly. So that is my first finish of my Year of Whips challenge pieces. I will now, let's see, I'll show you my new start that I made a couple of weeks ago, and I don't remember what day it was. It was 2 weeks ago yesterday that I did my last video. It was just a few days before the end of October, and I had decided that that I wasn't going to work on any of my Year of Whips challenge pieces until October 1st, and, well, all of my whips were in the challenge, so who's going to sit around and twiddle their thumbs for 4 or 5 days? Not this gal. So I pulled out this one, which was a gift from my hubby. This is by Ori TM, and it's called Harvest Time. Because, well, here we are in the Midwest, and oh boy, is it harvest time. Whew. I'm pretty sure I'm keeping Kleenex in business right now. But I got a fairly decent start on it in the few days that I worked on it. I didn't work on it for every day leading up to the 1st. I think I worked on this maybe 2 or 3 days. And this is on a 28 count desert sand linen. I'm not sure who the manufacturer is. My husband bought me the linen with the pattern, but it came from 123 Stitch, so that is what I got done on it in the couple 3 days that I worked on it. So that is, get it on the right side there. Yeah, that's just the first pumpkin there. And I don't know how much work I'll put into this now that I'm really in the thick of things on the Year of Whips challenge. But if I just decide that none of my current other whips, this isn't part of the challenge because it technically was just almost a brand new start recently. If I just get bored with the others, I may pull this one out and work on it for a while. So there's that. That was my new start. My current whip that I am working on as part of the challenge, my next one in line. And most of these are pretty close to done. Like I showed you in my last video, for the most part they all have a fairly decent start on them or aren't just, you know, really huge and intricate to begin with. So I have a tendency to just pick one up and either work on it till it's done, or if I can't get it done in a couple 3 weeks, that's about the time that I start getting bored and I will pick up something else and switch projects. But this one is very, very close to done. This is my Coral Charms by Nora Corbett. It's one I've been working on for a while. I am down into this bottom part in her tail right here. So I have actually moved this one onto my scroll rods, and it's on my lap stand. So you're only going to see the bottom portion of it because the head part is all rolled up. But I will see if I can get it up here. I didn't want to dismantle the whole thing. I'll see if I can get it up here and get it to where you can see it. Oh yeah, that'll work. See, her head is back here. But that is where I'm at right now. I've been working on those tendrils at the bottom. I finished beading those yesterday. And then, let's see if I can hold this up with one hand. Oh, it's heavy. I worked on beading these tendrils yesterday. These go down further, so they haven't been beaded yet. And I was stitching on this a little bit earlier today until the house cleared out and I could film my video. And I just discovered about a half an hour ago that all of this right here has to come back out because right here I am off by 1 stitch. So that's what I'm gonna do when we're done here. Woo! It could be worse. Could have been, you know, way up here somewhere, but it's not. So this is my lap stand. I don't know, you guys might have seen these before. I have other sizes of scroll rods. These are just the ones that I grabbed because I knew that they would be wide enough. This is an American Dreams lap stand, and these are the scroll rods that came with it. These right here that have the basting strip. I got this for my very first Mother's Day, and my daughter's 16. So this thing has been around for a day or two. It has served me well. It has moved probably 20 different times over 2 or 3 states. It's been packed up, banged up, knocked down, taken apart, put together, stored under a bed, stuck in an attic, shoved in a closet, and it still puts together and holds tension. And I mean, I love it. If anything ever happens to it, I'll probably cry because I don't know if they make this particular model anymore. But what I wanted to show you about how I use my scroll rods is I'm not a seamstress. I don't do good with needle and thread in terms of putting things together. So I had tried basting with needle and thread my fabric onto these little basting strips right here, and it seemed to be so time consuming, and I could never get it straight, and I never got it tight enough, and it just drove me crazy. I spent more time trying to baste it and worrying about that than I ever did working on the project. So between my husband and I, we came up with the bright idea because we had seen like the heat and bond and, you know, different what is it, there's some kind of, was it stitch witchery or something, some kind of basting thing, but I didn't want anything permanent on my actual fabric. So we, at Walmart, picked up self-stick Velcro. And in this box there are, there's a roll of the soft, like felty side, and there's a roll of the sticky teeth side, and it is adhesive. So the pieces are about this wide. So I just take, before I pull any adhesive off, I just cut the length that I need, or, you know, a little bit more in this case, and I cut long ways down that piece. Let me set this in front of me and see if I can show you a little visual aid, so you can maybe understand my rambly nonsense a little better. This is how it comes out of the package. This is the soft side, the felty or fleecier side, and then it has the backing that covers the adhesive on it. So, and then rolled up in it is another one. That's the teeth side that has the same backing on it. So I just cut whatever length of this that I need, and then I take scissors and I cut it in half this way for, you know, whatever that length is. I cut it all the way, you know, down, so that I essentially end up with 2 pieces of each one, the fuzzy one and the teethy one, in the length that I need. And then what I do is I take the basting portion of my scroll rod and I stick the teethy one on that. And this is adhesive, so I can peel it right off. And I have done this for probably the last, I started doing this probably 4 or 5 years ago, and I have yet to have adhesive left behind. I've yet to damage my basting strips, nor have I ever damaged any fabric. Knock some of this wood. But I put the teeth side on the basting part, and then I put the fuzzy side on my fabric. And just to show you, I'm going to try not to show you my back here, but to show you how that works, that's the back of my work. See that? It just peels right off. This is the fuzzy side on the wrong side of my project. So if I ever need to readjust, or if I need to, you know, make my fabric smaller, if somehow I decide that, oh, I have way too much fabric at one end and I need to cut some off, I can just unpeel this, and you can see how well it sticks. I can unpeel that, and then this is the adhesive. Yes, the adhesive is on my fabric. Don't panic, it's okay. It peels right off. It doesn't leave any mark behind on the fabric. It doesn't leave any stretched out area, usually just to be safe, because I am a worst case scenario anxiety Annie. I always allow myself more fabric than what I think I will ever need. If I know I'm going to be using my scroll rods at any point, sorry, I had to put that down, it was heavy. If I know I'm going to be using my scroll rods at any point on a certain project, usually the Miras, because they're beaded, they're almost all beaded, then I will allow an extra inch or inch and a half at the top and the bottom of my fabric to allow for any possible mishap that might happen with that Velcro being stuck to my fabric. That way, if I pull it off and it does leave a mark, or some adhesive does stay behind, I can just stop pulling at that point. I can cut it right off and not have to worry about it and still have plenty left for framing. But that keeps a more even tension on the fabric when I wrap it around my scroll rods, and it prevents me from having to try and, you know, first I have to pin it to the basting strip, and then I have to try to sew it on the basting strip, and then I have to hope that it's straight, because again, lines, geometry, I can't do it, y'all. I can't. I'm just not equipped for that sort of thing. So, you know, anything that I try to do in that regard, it ends up all wonky like this. That's a Vana word. Thanks, Vana. I've adopted that. Vana the Twisted Stitcher, she said wonky donkey in one of her videos one day, and I laughed until I almost wet myself. So wonky, one of my new favorite words. But it does. It ends up all wonky. Like I have the basting bar here, and then my project looks like this on it, and so then whenever I roll it up, I'm working on it at an angle, and it was just too much. So Velcro it is. Again, never had any problem with it. I've been doing that for years, multiple projects, and never an issue. So if you are desperately seeking a way to attach things to your scroll rods, this stuff is like, I don't know, $6, $7, maybe $8 for this big honkin' thing. You get, it's 2 inches wide, and you get 5 feet of each one of these strips. I mean, for real, that project is like maybe 16 inches wide. So I'm still working on a box that I bought like a year and a half ago. I think this is only the second box that I've gone through since I started doing this. So in 3 or 4 years, a box and a half of Velcro, I'll take it. So there's your Melody Stitches tip of the day. So that's my current whip. I'm almost finished with her. I'll spend the rest of the night frogging out that little piece and crying about it, and then restitching it, and then that probably will still be my progress at the end of the day. Just exactly how it looks now, only 1 stitch over. So now I will show you my new starts that I have ready to go. These are in no particular order. They're just ones that I pulled out of my stash area and determined that I had all of the threads and appropriate fabric, and I'm just pulling things out blind, and if it fits into a sal for next year, then great, and if it doesn't, then it's just gonna get started and stitched and maybe one of these millennia finished. But the point is to try and pare down as much of my stash as I can. I have so much stuff, so many things that I bought because I loved them and I wanted to stitch them, and I have been on kind of a self-imposed buying, not freeze, because I have bought a few things, but nothing like it used to be. So I'm really, really trying hard to work through what I have before I add more things that I'm, you know, just going to push everything else further behind with. So these are, I have no sals particularly in mind for them. Soulful Stitching, the Facebook group, is doing a cross-stitch blitz next year starting in January. It's one new start a week for the whole year. I probably will start one new start a week until I either run out of things to start, yeah, or until I get tired of trying to start something every week, which probably will be around mid-February. And then, yeah, then I'll just see how far I get. So, the first one that I have in my pile of new starts is a Little House Needleworks. This is Ye Olde Coffee House. I have a lot of coffee patterns. Y'all figured out yet that I like coffee? Lots of coffee patterns. So that one, and this one I have ready to go. I've taken some of these Loran project cards and I've just cut them down to size for whatever, however many colors it calls for, and as you can see I've got some holes to fill in on this one, but I'm just going through and pulling a few strands of my colors and putting them on the project cards, and that way I don't have to buy a new skein for every project or chase down what bobbin is in what project that I need to use for that. And this one is going to go on, this is actually like napkin material. You can see that sewn edge there. These were given to me a while back. I don't even remember by who or under what circumstance, but they measure out as the same as 32 count linen, and they're kind of, well, you can see they're kind of like they remind me of like the Fiddler's Cloth Ada, their coloring, but I really like those, and I probably am just going to finish these, or try to finish these as stand-ups. So these sewn finished edges around the sides, I won't have to worry with those getting in the way with any kind of framing or anything. But I've had these in my stash for a while, and I've really wanted to use them just to see how something stitches up on them. So that's what I'm going to try to do this one on. We'll see how it works. I'll let you know. This next one is, this is by Buckeye Designs. This is one that I found at my local thrift shop for, I think, 10 cents. And it's called Town Square. And I really like that. We don't have a square in my town, but in several neighboring towns near where I live, they have town squares. So it's very reminiscent of home to me, my home area. And then again, another project card. I've labeled up here what the designer and the name of the pattern is in case these should get misplaced from the project bag. I don't know how that would ever happen because I'm so organized and I always know exactly where everything is all the time. So I labeled them, which obviously was just a waste, and I'll never need that. So there's all the threads for that one, and this one is, this chart is from, I think it's from like 1986, Ann Taylor Nelson Designs. I'll just show you this little teeny tiny piece back here real quick. It's hand-drawn. I've never stitched a hand-drawn chart, so we'll see how that goes. And then for this one, I've just picked, it's just one of those random quilt shop pieces of 28 count, kind of off-white, cream-colored linen. So there's that one. And another Little House Needleworks. This is Mississippi Riverboat. Says Sawyer and Finn Riverboat Company, a nod to Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn. And this is all done in DMC colors. So I've, again, and I love these colors. I just love them all together. Again, I have my project card here. Those are the colors in the project. And this one will be stitched on, this is a piece of 28 count, it's DMC linen in kind of an ecru color. This is really, really stiff. Really scratchy. I might have to do something to soften that up. But I had 3 of those that I had found at our local quilt shop the last time we were there. He usually has a little area in the back that's just chock full of cross-stitch kits and, you know, random fabrics, things that he finds when he goes to quilt shows or when he buys big estate lots that people are getting rid of, and he'll put them back there and mark them way down. So I think those DMC 28 count linens, I think we got for like $3 a package, and I believe they're 18 by 18 packages, so I couldn't pass them up. Stiff or not, couldn't pass them up. Next one is Little House Needleworks. This is Prairie Sampler, because, well, I live on the prairie. Might as well own it. On days like today, I definitely own it. It's gorgeous outside. This is the kind of year I love living here, or the time. Kind? Is there a kind of year? This is the time of year that I love living here. This one is all charted in hand dyes, which are all back here and ready to go, and this is just a raw 28 count linen. It's just a random piece from my stash. I probably got it as a lot with several others and couldn't even tell you where it comes from. I also have, this is Little House Needleworks Over the Moon. This is the Sun, Moon, and Stars chart and thread pack kit. So this came with the chart, the required fabric, a needle, and enough of each overdyed floss to complete the project. This is one that I think I bought offline just because it was a really good price. I love these little things. I wish I could find these more often. I just love these. I have completed 2 of these, and this is the last one that I have in my stash. I really need to look for some more. These Bent Creek zippers. I love these. They are so much fun. This one is Blackbird House. And I love them because they come in their own little zipper pouch. They have everything that is required. They've got the fabric. There's, you know, with the little packets of all of the overdyed flosses that are needed, the chart, I mean everything, and they are just so stinking cute. And I love them, and every time I see that somebody has one for sale, I don't normally just buy them by themselves because these are like 25 or 35 or some kind of dollars. But like on Stash Unload and some of the other Facebook sales groups, I'll come across them every now and then. I think I paid $8 for this one. And I think I paid $12 for the other 2 that I've done. So these are adorable. I love them. If you ever get a chance to, if you like doing these like smaller things, they're super quick to stitch up. Everything you need is in here, and they give you plenty. I probably still have in my thread box leftovers from the last 2 that I've done that I have then, you know, put with other projects that called for those colors and had enough to do those even. So if you see those anywhere for a reasonable price, snag them. They're awesome. Love them. This one is another one of the Mill Hill Buttons and Beads kits. This one is Toy Shop. I think in my last video I had shown you the Victorian House one, which is one that I will start before the end of the year. And this is one that I have semi-ideas for when I will start it next year. And there's all the beads and threads and everything that come with that one. I just think these are really cute. My husband and I have been, since we got married, collecting little Christmas village houses, churches, bakeries, like the actual little village pieces. But in the house that we currently live in, we don't really have enough room to set up any kind of Christmas village. So we're just sort of, you know, once a year getting another piece. That's kind of our thing. So in lieu of actually being able to display a Christmas village, I thought it might be nice to stitch up some of these that we could display, like maybe on an easel stand or something, just on our entertainment center near our Christmas tree, until such time as we can actually get a Christmas village up and displayed. Let's see. I have, just pulling random things out of here. This is one that was on my Stitch Mania list that got left in the Stitch Mania Tote of Shame because it never got started. But this is the Prairie Schooler April. I'm not going to do all of these Prairie Schooler months, mostly because they're still, even though the company has given permission for these to be reprinted and to start being sold again, they're still kind of hard to come by, and you know, mostly people want a pretty penny for them. A lot of the online stores and stuff are sold out of various ones here and there. So that one, I just really like the colors in it, and I like the picture, and it has a pink house, and we know I like pink houses, right? So that one I'm doing on, this is just 28 count natural linen. It's just a piece in a bag that I got from that quilt shop that I had in my stash, and I'm just stitching that with DMC threads. So there's that one. And this is a series that I'm going to be starting next year. This is a freebie series from the Snowflower Diaries. It's called Joyful World. And I'm going to not show you the chart, but I'll just hold this up here. There is a different one of these for every month. So, like, I'll show you just whichever ones I happen to flip to here. There's January, there's May, and these are all animal themed. There's the September, the owls, those are so cute. The most recent one, October, the little hedgehog. I love him. She releases these. These are on, if you go to the Joyful World Stitch Along or Snowflower Diaries, either one on Facebook, there's a group that you can join. And the 10th of every month, she releases the next month's chart. So this one for October, here, the little hedgehog, this one was released on the 10th of September. So here in just, well, maybe tomorrow. I think maybe tomorrow's the 10th. It'll be the 10th of October, so she'll be releasing the chart for November. So I wanted to wait until I had all of these, and then one of my weekly starts next year will be, each month I will start the corresponding month for this series. They are adorable, and they are so cute, and I think they finish out like 3x5 or 4x6 or something. They're not huge. They're perfect for the little stand-up cubes. They're just adorable. So I've got all of them so far. So I'm going to do that series. Ooh, too much talking. What are we at? 33 minutes. Better than last time. This is one. I had thought I might start this month because there's a Lizzie Kate sale going on one of the groups. Stitch Mania, maybe? I can't remember. One of the groups is doing a Lizzie Kate sale, but I was going to do this one. This is Think Deeply. And I love the sentiment behind this. Think deeply, speak gently, love much, laugh often, work hard, give freely, be kind. And this would fit perfectly right over my front door. Or as you come in my front door, I have a great big doorway, wide doorway that goes from our living room into our dining room. And above that, probably. Just because I think those are the type of sentiments that you cannot have too many of around, where people will see them and be reminded, oh, I should be kind and nice and generous and thankful. Yeah, so, and that I'm going to put on just a piece of natural linen. I believe this is a 25 count. I think I counted it out with my stitch counter. I think this is a 25 count. Either way, it's very loose. It's a very loose weave linen. I really like it, and I think that will work well with the charted design, and then I have recharted the colors very similar to what it calls for, but I have just used ones that I have in my stash as opposed to buying the specific ones that the chart requires. So these are all very close to, very similar to the colors in the pattern, but again, with my attempting to use the stash that I already have, I'm just going to work with what I've got, and we'll make do. Next one I'm going to start, this is Bent Creek Spring Row. I really like these different row ones from Bent Creek. I have a couple of them. And I'm just going to start this on just a regular piece of just natural linen. This is 36 count, I believe. And I haven't pulled the threads or anything for that one yet because it does call for all hand-dyeds, and I think that I may just go ahead and do it in DMC. I don't think there would be enough variegation. Each of the little motifs is so small. I don't know that there'd be enough variegation to really warrant pulling out all the hand-dyeds. Next one, I think we're almost to the bottom of my starts bucket. The next one, this is a freebie from Nora Corbett. This was in the Just Cross Stitch, I believe it was in the December 2015 Just Cross Stitch magazine. This is Queen Anne's Lace. This was a free download that you could get from the Just Cross Stitch website. I believe it's still there. I lost a chart page to the first one that I printed whenever it initially came out, and I just reprinted this one 3 months ago. So I believe if you go to the Just Cross Stitch website and either search for Queen Anne's Lace or it used to be a featured chart on there, you should still be able to print it out. And if not, you might contact Just Cross Stitch and find out if it's still available or when it might be again. But that was a freebie. I don't have any of the fabric or anything pulled for that one yet. I have fabric for it, I just haven't gone through and decided what I want to use yet. And then the last start that I have in here that I'm going to be doing next year is this is by Paulette Stewart. I believe she's Plum Street Samplers, if I'm not mistaken, but it's the 12 Days of Christmas. And I can't show you this because it's just the chart. I know that Stitching May is working on this one and has been showing fairly regular updates in her videos. I've seen several other people working on it. This is one where it just calls for literally red and green. Pick your own colors, pick your own whether you want variegated, hand-dyed, silk, cotton, you know, you could do maroon, you could do, you know, devil's lipstick red, you could do whatever shade of green you want. I'm not doing either one because that's way too traditional. So mine is going to be, I'm going to pull some different turquoises, and I'm going to choose a turquoise, and then I'll use the winter white, the B5200. And then I probably will use one of my silver Krennic or silver Petite Treasure braid to incorporate, you know, some bling, some glitz into it. So my entire project will be turquoise, white, and silver, because that goes along more with our Christmas theme in our house. We don't do red and green. So that's the bottom of my bucket of starts. I have several others that I want to start. I've got working copies made for several. I've got fabrics picked out for a lot of them that I know I want to do. I just haven't really sat down and pulled everything together yet. I think this is more than enough to tide me over for a while. I'm going to keep working on Coral Charms just because I'm so close to having her finished. And I'm going to, once she's done, then move on to another one of my whips for the Year of Whips challenge. I haven't posted in my finishes or updated my album on Facebook or anything, just because I wanted to do that here first. I actually finished my my Jardin Privé Sal, the one that I just showed you here. I finished it Thursday night, I think. And I just kind of held on to it because I knew I was going to be doing a video this weekend. So, yeah, so that's about it for this one. Thank you for watching. Thank you to everyone for subscribing. Thank you for all of your comments. I am reading every one of your comments. I don't know when I will have time to respond to each of you, but I will do my absolute very best to go back through and give some acknowledgement for your taking the time out to acknowledge my video and to say such nice and kind things. And you know, so many of you are so kind and generous with your comments. And we have teenagers in our neighborhood, and they have to go everywhere at 300 miles an hour. I'll be really glad when they grow out of that, or go to college, whichever comes first. Anyway, so thank you for your comments, your feedback. I'm so proud, y'all. I'm beside myself. I don't even know what to do. It took me 4 videos. My last video was my 4th one. It took me 4 videos before I got my very first thumbs down. And you know what? I got 2 thumbs down. Really? Wow. 2 people disliked my video so much that they took time to actually position their mouse over the thumbs down and click the button to say, you kind of suck. So to them I say, it is what it is. So hopefully they're disliking my videos, and that's distracting them from disliking any of yours, because you all are awesome, and anybody that dislikes your videos is basically just a flaming idiot. So there's that. So yes, thank you all. I look forward to watching and catching up on your videos. So many of you I so enjoy watching on a regular basis. You guys get me through doing the dishes and folding laundry and straightening my hair, which is like what seems like a 15-hour undertaking, especially on a humid day. You sometimes are with me just playing in the background. No, I don't watch you at that moment, but you're playing in the background on my drive to work. If it's a quiet phone day at my job, then sometimes you're on my little drawer next to my keyboard and I have you plugged into my ear and you get me through my work day. So thank you for that, for just, you know, motivating me to do those dishes and fold that laundry. You guys are really great. I would never thumbs down any of you, ever. I'm just saying. So, yeah, keep stitching. Enjoy your family. Enjoy your me time. Enjoy your wine, if that's your thing. But definitely pick up a needle and some thread and, you know, find some good TV or some good company and do what you love to do, because it is what makes you you. And if we're not happy, then what's the point of being here, right? So, stitch on. Let me know if there's anything that you'd like to see from me, or any questions that you have for me, any videos that you'd like to see me do. And otherwise, I will see you in about 2 weeks with some updates on what I've been working on. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.